Season 2, Episode 5. Thoughts? This episode is called Alignment Charts. Chart. Yes. Yes. Singular. Yes. So, the episode is rated TV 14, so this video be spoilers for every MCU thing leading up to and including this episode. This show keeps impressing me more and more. Another episode I absolutely loved. Okay, I really want to talk about the ending, but I guess I should probably start at the beginning. So, I continue to love these framing devices that every so often an episode of the show will do. So, the story being told, I'm not sure I've heard... Actually, no, I probably have heard this variation on it. Usually, when I think of a story like the Farmer and the Viper that Tandy tells here, the one that first comes to my mind is the scorpion, or was it a snake? The thing with where an animal needs a deadly animal needs another animal to get across water. And, at first the other animal doesn't really trust it. The deadly animal points out, well, if I kill you, we'll both die. And, partway across, it does attack. And as they're both drowning, the other one asks, why did you do that? And the other one says, it's in my nature. But yeah, this one, the fact that the farmer... actually, brings the Viper in, puts it by the hearth, and then braves the storm to get more wood, and then is attacked. That is a bit more... And perhaps also the fact that the Viper doesn't die, unlike the deadly animal when they cross the water. The Viper will survive. It was, brought back to a better condition, and then kills, and then doesn't itself get hurt. So that is I thought that the farmer was Ty and the Viper was the Connors. But I guess by the end of the episode, that's not really... Connors genuinely seemed surprised that the file was not there. So I guess Tandy was the farmer and Leah was the Viper, and though I'm not 100% sure if the ending of this episode represents, because Tandy didn't do that much for Leah, just like taking out, and certainly Tandy didn't know that Leah was like a Viper when she first, I'm not sure it's a perfect like one-to-one, but it worked quite well. Let's stick with Tandy. So, at the very start of the episode, Ty is quite frustrated with her for, releasing Connors and not bringing back Mayhem. She points out, she lost two, as she points out later, she was cut loose, foot loose, kicked off her Sunday shoes. And, let's see, Tandy, I quite enjoyed her exchange with Andre. That was, there's some really great stuff there. And, I mean, now I'm starting to wonder if everything Leah told her was a lie or not. And because certainly, like, Leah put her through... Oh, that was probably to make sure that she would believe it. If it's one of those things where if you give it up too easily, the other person might get suspicious. And I guess maybe Leah had some idea that Tandy was the person who helped free the girls. Let's see. I'm not 100% sure how she knew that, but maybe that'll be explained in a later episode. Or maybe it is just the fact that she keeps like trying to find out more about the girls. That's yeah. I don't know if Eric was just like competition or if they were still partners. I guess maybe they are still partners. She lied about no longer working with Eric. Maybe that's the thing. And she got Michaela because of the support group, and she's actually using that position. Holy crap. Like when a character in one of these Marvel live action shows is evil, they are pure evil. Like there is just, yeah, Viper is a pretty good way to, holy crap. I do disagree with Tandy about the, the Viper, Viper can't change its nature kind of thing. Although, wait, did she say that was a fallacy? Anyway, not all Vipers are exactly the same. Viper in the Wolverine is not quite the same as in the comics. Was that a good enough actually to be anyway? Let's see. Yeah. I really appreciate Andre trying to protect the girls. Although, I mean, no, yeah, I think he is genuine. I don't think he knows about Leah. I guess I might be proven wrong. Now I'm trying not to suspect everyone on this show because Leah really seemed to be a good person. But talking about trying to protect them, putting out, they're in various states of distress. They shouldn't be forced to relive it. And he says something like, what was it, the angel and the shadow, which is a decent enough alternate title for the show. Maybe that was like a working title to hide, to keep people from realizing what was going on or something like that. And The Shadow is an excellent movie. I hear Angel's a good show. I might watch it at some point. As far as I can tell, Leah was telling the truth a lot of the time. I'm not 100% sure anymore if Eric was... No, I think she was even telling the truth about Eric. It's just that she didn't stop working for, yeah. And Tandy, she... Right, yeah. I thought they did a fantastic job. We have the thing again about like Tandy keeps thinking that it's just about self-discipline, about having the will to do it, which is a bit naive. And I'll admit I used to think that way myself. That if you're facing something that is bad, if you don't do something about it, that just means you lack the will. That you don't need training, that will to act is everything. But yeah, that's right. And she actually, yes, she says that to her mother, and that was also great. Yeah, Tandy and we are like, did she fall off the wagon and have to walk home, I guess? And the thing with, you found another rich, abusive guy. And again, with the great lines by Tandy, you were okay with him, with Dad, as long as he kept it. I forget the first thing she said, but something like, as long as he supplied us with Benzes and Benzos. That's a great, so yeah. It's Mercedes-Benz, right? BMW, I think it's also referred to as, or maybe that's a different car. I'm not a car person. I'm not a transformer. And benzodiazepine, something like that. The drug. And yeah. But yes, when she talks to Leah, we get these really harsh truths about for a number of sex workers, it was very much non-consensual. They were pressured into it by someone they trusted. A number of times it's their partner, and they didn't have anyone who could help them out of it. They felt alone, and they they stayed with it until they were eventually able to get out of that situation. So yeah, really, I really appreciate the show being so honest. There's way too much media that paints sex workers as just these like naive, that the because like basically she thought it was a good relationship. She didn't realize how abusive it was. And yeah, it seems like by the end of the episode, like, yeah, she is still in that relationship. She was just pretending not to be. Which I guess makes Eric a better liar than offhand I would have thought. Or I guess, wait, maybe I guess he didn't say that he doesn't know who his partner is. He just doesn't know where, they do their thing, I do mine, so the kind of thing. And yeah, really, really tense during the, right, oh. She took advantage of Tyrone, and I really appreciate that the show, like, she's trying to do better, and she's trying to use it for a good cause, but lying does still come very naturally to her, lying and judging. She spends this episode lying and judging, and I feel like it does a really great job, the show, of demonstrating it's very difficult to get out of these circumstances. She spent 8 years being very, very angry at anyone that she felt, I mean, it wasn't even, like, quote-unquote, just people who she deemed directly responsible. It was, people, like, yeah, she stole from rich people that she didn't even know. She didn't know anything about Ty when she, I forget what it's called. But, yeah, she bumped into him and took his wallet. But yeah, she lied to Ty, and it's one of those things where, if you really think, ideally you should probably, if you really think it's the right thing to do, and you're not trying to take advantage of someone, tell them the truth, but again, yeah, I do still have an idealistic streak. Well, I suppose I'm still an idealist, I just try not to be naive about it, if that makes sense. Trying to figure out exactly what words to use. But I'll let you know when it occurs to me. Yes, so we have the but yeah, I appreciate he calls her on it and does not really, although she got enough to convince Leah. And yeah, Tandy goes into the place, and yeah, it was great when she's able to, like, cut the thing that, I'm not 100% sure what it's called, but the thing that Eric was about to hit her with, she just cuts it apart. But there's too many of them, Sid, and, he also had, what's it called, pepper spray. And, yeah, a knife's not really gonna cut through that. And, yeah, she evens out the odds a little with a, great ball of light. And yeah, punches him and tells him you're through. Undeniably cathartic. Again, like, I do not approve of violence. I think it should always be our last resort, but yeah, this guy's a scumbag. And then we have the and she points out to Leah, very true, bullies, I'd like to think it's not true of all bullies, because there's sadly a lot in the world, but for some it definitely is true. You have to resist and fight back. And yeah, just like the moment of realization of the, you hear the siren, and it's like, ambulance. And, the Leah zaps her, and just like, holy crap. And it ends with her in the back of the car. Oh. I'm gonna try to watch another episode tomorrow, because I can hardly wait to see where... Holy crap. Yeah. And yeah, yeah, over the course of the episode, it cuts, it cuts back and forth between, I guess, reality and this fantasy. By the end of the episode, we realize it's a fantasy she's concocted. I think the show continues to do a really great job editing, going between these different, it's not always a fantasy and reality. Sometimes it's different, and yeah, as usual, the episode cuts between the two titular characters and such, and you got to be careful with editing like that because you really don't want to end up like just jumping around and looking foolish like Elon Musk at a Trump rally or something. And yeah, when she says, Tyrone, you've earned this, you deserve this, and then it cuts to him punching, Connors, and it is this thing of like, there's this dual meaning that's wonderful. Does he deserve to take revenge because they earlier his father asked him, define justice, what exactly are we talking about here? Is he going to get revenge on Connors by offing him, or in a church, no less? I don't think he's going to come back after 3 days, this one. Or is it, ironic? Because, normally when you say someone has earned something, it's by doing good, not by giving in to anger like that. Which I'm not saying it's like, I'm not saying I blame him. I 100% understand where he's coming from. But it is not the right thing to do, And yeah, by the end we see, she has this, I love the lighting and the little, like, there's this haze over those, like, it does have this dreamlike feel from right away when she's talking about the Viper. And yeah, let's see, we have the yes, she is like giving a toast. That's the sort of framing device there. And yeah, she imagines that he became a cop, that Billy never died, that her mother is happy, that her father is still around and a good person. It is really like dreams having come true. And there's also the fact that I forget if it was both, but definitely Tyrone's mother was actually happy to see Tandy. So yeah, this is very much like wish fulfillment. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if that is maybe supposed to be what she imagines there at the end when she's being put under in the ambulance, but yeah. Not, well, let's see. I guess is there anything to say about Connors that doesn't directly tie to Ty? I guess I'll briefly cover Bridget. Yeah, I appreciate that she does, at first she's like, I can't help, with this. And then later she does actually help. And yeah, it is very clever. It does help evacuate when someone, yeah, she goes in, tells them there's a bomb threat. There is indeed an explosion, which, like, that was kind of intense. I did not think they would actually blow something up, but I mean, yeah, if Ty can teleport, of course he can get his hands on something explosive. Maybe did they get something explosive from one of the gang raids that he carried out? Certainly the that's where he got the bullets for the gunpowder plot. But yeah, yes, she says there's a bomb threat, and it is, the guy, it's like, I didn't hear anything about a bomb threat, and that is, yeah, like, hypothetically, they should also, they should be informed about something like that without a cop just coming in without any evidence to show. I think that is accurate, at least. And yeah, yeah, she tells them, they evacuate, and then they leave, which is quite understandable. I suppose that pretty much covers Bridget. Yeah, by the end of the episode, she is still not 100% on the gun accuracy. I think that does cover everyone other than Tyrone. So I guess I'll just briefly start with the part where we see Connors but not Ty. I gotta say, I did not expect... I really did think he was going to be a major threat, but this is a great bit of misdirection. Because, no, he left so he could retrieve the evidence. Because if he stayed and just talked, for one thing, Tyrone might not let him out of his sight. And, you know, if you're, like, going for a gun in front of a guy who thinks that all you are is this ruthless murderer, which is what he used to be, you know, fair enough. Not saying I blame Ty. Yeah, like, he's probably not going to be too happy about it. Even if you warn him and say, no, I'm just... It's the evidence gun. You know, it's the one that... It's going to help exonerate you, you know. But, yeah. He... As soon as he did get those things, he was just waiting for Ty to show up so he could turn himself in to Ty at first. Yeah, very, very nicely done. Great bit of misdirection because, yeah, we actually didn't see, like, Connors didn't say or do anything that would, in this episode and the one right before it, that would suggest that he was still trying to, because, you know, I mean, it's not like last time we saw him at the end of season one, at the season one finale, he was trying to kill Tyrone. That was 100%, you know, and we, you know, he's clearly, you know, spent these 8 months obsessed with Tyrone inside the other realm, and I guess I will call it limbo. And we thought that was like him. I mean, there probably is some fear there, but it wasn't the kind of fear that drives someone to engage in violence against that which they are afraid of. You know, it's the... Yeah. How do I put this? Sometimes fear can make you do the right thing. You know, again, I'm not saying we should inspire fear in people that we know have done wrong. Should still, you know, should be one of the last things we do. We should try to get the results in more humane ways. But yeah, you know, some people, you know, I am of the opinion that conservatives appeal to the idea of scared straight entirely too much and sometimes try to use it for things where it has nothing to do with whether or not you're afraid. They're doing the thing they're doing. You know, sometimes it's like about drugs, and it's like, no, the drugs is because they don't feel like they have any other option. You know, it's not that they... For a number of them, it's not that they don't care that it's hurting people. They just see no other option. But yeah, really, really a great bit with Ty, you know, yeah, taking all these bullets out of all these guns, cracking them open, getting the gunpowder, you know, making the Vevey, setting, you know, yeah, lighting it, and then teleporting to Connors. And yeah, like, at first I did think, like, holy crap, I guess Connors is going to shoot him, and I'm like trying to figure out, you know, it didn't last for very many seconds, but I was trying to figure out, could he at that range teleport fast enough? He did just teleport, you know, but Connors just, you know, lowers the gun, puts it on the ground, kicks it over. Yeah, like, he basically just needed Ty to give him a few seconds before he comes at him so that he can... And it does also, like, if you start out by pointing a gun at someone and then you lower the gun and give them the gun, that communicates very clearly, I'm not going to use this gun. I think it was also a cut to commercial. That was a nice bit of, you know, but yeah, you know, it's not like there was no payoff to it or something, but yeah, he was just trying to convey, I could, if I wanted to. I have no intention of doing that. You know, I have no intention of firing this handgun. And yeah, the conversation, and the hacksaw. Like, when I saw, it was a great bit of the fact that the way he got to the gun. He had stashed it. Because yeah, if the gun is ever found, it's going to be, yeah, it could cause legal trouble for him. So he stashed it, and let's see, when I saw him get the hacksaw, I thought that, man, oh, he's gonna shoot Tyrone and like dispose of the body. But no, it was about cutting the steel bar, and there's the fingerprints and this whole thing, and then he handcuffs himself. So just, yeah, very clearly showing. And yeah, he says, I spent 8 months trapped in that place alone with my thoughts, terrified that I wouldn't be able to make things right. And I really appreciate that even after all this, and again, it seems genuine. Like, maybe I'll be proven wrong. There's what, 4 episodes left, something like that. Because let's see, this was episode 5. Yeah, halfway through season 2. We're there's still room for it, I suppose. But at this point, he seems genuine, and he's still using this, exonerating neutral language that you see when media covers shootings, and when the police write up a shooting. They won't say the officer shot and killed, the person that they kill, if it's at all a situation where they think they might get in trouble. At least, they'll use more neutral language like he does in this scene. And later, he's willing to use the word killed, but then, excuse me, Ty's father points out, no, not killed, murdered. Kill could be interpreted as like self-defense or something, but it was murder. And he agrees. He's not trying to fight back, but it's still so ingrained. There's definitely need of police reform. Police training has to be changed majorly. And let's see, you don't have to take my word for it. Let's see, That Dang Dad, and I want to say Thought Slime did excellent videos talking about what some of the major problems with police training in America are. Now, let's see. So Ty is still like, he's about to hurt Connors. I mean, physically, not like tell him that the beard is, really not a good look on him or something. And he takes him to his father and later explains, that was the only way that I wasn't gonna attack you, with my father around. We get the, his father's friend making a kind of misogynistic joke about, oh, all these pillows and they're just for decoration. But, at the end of the day, I feel, I don't think the show is misogynistic. I think it is just saying, this character is somewhat misogynistic, and Ty's father is somewhat comfortable with it. The fact that the guy, that he immediately readies a knife is very telling. Like, he thinks that, and he thinks he's going to need to use it. And when Connors gets in there, let's see, that's I want to say it's Ty's father who gets the knife, and he, like, I mean, it's one thing that he's about to use the knife on Connors. He specifically, like, points it extremely close to Connor's eye. Like, he was about to, like, Mission Impossible to him. Like, holy crap. Just, yeah. Very, very dark. And, Ty does manage to talk him down. And, they talk about that they're going to shoot him with his own gun if he really is lying. And I do appreciate that Ty there at the end, he doesn't reveal that Connors was lying. He just, he knocks, teleports in, teleports Connors out. And yeah, they're standing there talking about, well, we have a gun, we have him tied up. I really appreciate that, he handcuffs himself, and later he doesn't at all fight back as they're duct taping him to a chair, and they're standing there talking about, well, I mean, we have a gun, and I just want there to be an outtake where he goes, I heard that, Tyrone. But let's see, we have the, that brings us to, so he told him other than the 2 pieces of evidence, there's still one more thing needed, the Monopoly file. It's his get out of jail free card. Very, very nicely, and did he have time to call and have the file moved, maybe? Is that why it's not there? Because he realized about the steam room? Because we don't see whether or not he checks for the key, and he did sense that there was someone in there. But yeah, that was also very, like a little mini heist kind of situation. Quite enjoyed that. And again later when with the bomb threat and that whole thing. But yeah, yes, so we have the, what's it called? He disguises himself, walks past. At first it looks like, wait, is this, person who actually works there, is she, like, suspecting him? But no, she was apparently, like, trying to figure out if she's attracted to Ty or not, and then ends up feeling like, okay, yep, and smiles. That's, and he's, he gives back, like, this, demure, polite smile, because he's not really there for that right now, and he does have a girlfriend, not that she knows that, but I gotta say, when he, like, knows that there's someone evil inside a steam room, and he, like, turns up the heat to a really ridiculous level, I really got, like, Hitman vibes. So that was, that's not a bad thing, as long as it's not the first movie or Absolution. But let's see, we have the, let's see, not 100% certain why he did turn it up. Like, wouldn't that make it more likely for the guy to leave the steam room instead of... Was it to make sure that he took off the... Maybe. It was a neat visual, a lot of steam inside there, and, very tense as he walks up and picks up the key. And, great in camera of, like, the camera shows Tyrone, and then it pans over to Connor's uncle, who takes off the towel, and the camera pans back and Ty is gone. And, like, obviously, like, in universe he teleported out, but in reality, like, they carefully planned it out. As soon as the camera's off the actor, Aubrey, I want to say his name is, he just takes, like, 3 steps forward, and when the camera pans back, he's no longer in frame. Very, very nicely done, very effective. And like, I gotta say, I mean, obviously there had to be some kind of complication, but the fact that the bottle was empty. This bottle is empty. No file. This bottle was supposed to have a file. I didn't see that coming, and I do really appreciate, like, Connor genuinely seemed to not know that would be the case. And... he's Ty sees the his worst fear, and he is worried about being judged. You've got the Lady Justice, I want to say, with the weighing the gun representing his violent acts versus his heart, which has been ripped from his chest. I feel like there's a misogynistic joke in there about, like, oh, even Lady Justice is like a a man-eater or something, but just, yeah. Pretty sure that's not a purposeful thing for the show. And yeah, there are belief systems where, your heart must be weighed against, was it like a feather in, you know what? I am not 100% sure that I'm going to get it right, so I'm not going to say it just in case. But it was I guess that is technically a spoiler. I'll just say there was another Marvel property that explored similar. But yeah, he seems to genuinely want to try to make up for all the evil that he genuinely has done, that he admits that he has done. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure if later in this season they're going to go. Let's see, if Tandy is going to go back inside Limbo and try to get Mayhem out. I guess it's possible that she won't be let back in because she broke the rules and was expelled. Maybe they could get someone else to go in. Maybe Bridget. That could be an interesting... Bridget having to get Mayhem... yeah, and I think Mayhem did want to leave... At least, yeah. But the, yeah, because she said, oh, there's no exit here. The map shows an exit, but you can't get to it. Because certainly, Mayhem. Although I guess by the end of this episode, maybe they don't need Mayhem now that Tandy at least knows that it's Leah. Although how she's going to get that information to Tyrone and Bridget, I don't quite know. But that, yeah. I keep not being able to pin down exactly who is going to be, like, the antagonist of the season. Because season 1, very much, like, Tyrone's antagonist for the season was Connors. And I suppose with Tandy it was less one individual and more like Roxxon in general. Although some of the time, at least, Roxxon was... that one guy who kept, who really ruined her father's reputation. He was, if there was a human antagonist for her, it would be him. But then this season, it doesn't seem like Mayhem is really going. It seems more like she's like an anti-hero that you can sometimes depend on, kind of thing, or that edgy anti-hero might hurt some of the good guys as well. I mean, she didn't stop firing when Tyrone was right there. She could have hit him, not only Solomon. And, I appreciate she wanted to kill Solomon because Solomon is a gang member, but, Tyrone's not. Let's see. But yeah, before watching this episode, after watching the last episode, I thought maybe Connors would now be the again this season, a sort of central antagonist, although we're halfway through the season, but, doesn't appear that that's the case. I guess maybe Leah is going to be, but yeah. The villain hiding and being like a late, a twist late in the, that, I guess that part was like something that inspired a bunch of the Disney Plus MCU shows, because certainly a bunch of those do have that, probably more than should.